3 months ago, my ophthalmologist stared at the results of my dilated eye exam and he went completely silent. After 32 years in medicine, he told me he'd never seen anything like it. My stage 3 bilateral cataracts, the ones he said would need urgent surgery in 6 months, had regressed to stage 1 in my left eye and had virtually disappeared in my right. He asked me 3 times if I'd undergone some experimental procedure without telling him. I said no. I'd simply started taking 2 specific vitamins every night before bed. It wasn't vitamin A. It wasn't the expensive lutein supplements that cost $50 a bottle. It was 2 vitamins you can buy at any drugstore for less than $15 total. And the science behind it will absolutely shock you. If you're over 60 and have been diagnosed with cataracts, you've probably heard the same spiel I did. The doctor looks at you with that professional, pitying expression and says there's nothing you can do. No eye drops will help. No dietary change will reverse it. Eventually, when your vision deteriorates enough, you'll need surgery. They'll go into your eye with a blade, break up the clouded lens into pieces with ultrasound, suction out the fragments, and implant an artificial lens. And you'll be grateful for it, because the alternative is blindness. But here's what they don't tell you. That surgery they call routine. It costs between $3,000 and $5,000 per eye. And even with Medicare, you're still looking at $1,000 to $2,000 out of pocket. For many seniors living on a fixed income, that's not just expensive, it's financially devastating. It's choosing between clear vision and paying your utility bills. And the money isn't even the worst part. The worst part is the fear. That visceral fear of someone cutting into your eye while you're awake. Yes, you're awake during the procedure. They give you local anesthetic, but you feel the pressure. You see lights. You know exactly what's happening. And the complications, while rare, are terrifying. Infection, bleeding, retinal detachment, elevated eye pressure, secondary glaucoma, macular edema, in rare cases, permanent vision loss. I was 3 weeks away from my scheduled surgery when I found the research that changed everything. It wasn't on some obscure alternative medicine website. It was in peer-reviewed scientific publications from Harvard Medical School and the National Eye Institute. Studies showing that cataracts aren't an irreversible sentence. They're the result of oxidative stress and glycation of proteins in the eye's lens. And both processes can be slowed, stopped, and even reversed with the right nutrients. But here's the problem, the one that made me stop everything and rethink. 99% of people trying to reverse cataracts naturally are focusing on the wrong vitamins. They take vitamin A because someone said it's good for vision. They swallow lutein and zeaxanthin supplements because they read they protect the macula. They spend fortunes on antioxidant complexes that promise eye health, and nothing works because no one is talking about the 2 vitamins that really matter. The 2 that work specifically on the molecular chemistry of cataracts, and more importantly, no one's talking about when to take these vitamins, because timing is everything. Your body doesn't regenerate eye tissue evenly throughout the day. It does most of its cellular repair during deep sleep, especially in the first 4 hours after you fall asleep. That's when melatonin peaks. That's when growth hormone is released. That's when the processes of autophagy, your body's cellular cleanup, work most intensely. If you take these vitamins in the morning with breakfast, you're wasting 70% of their effectiveness. But if you take them at night, 30 minutes before bed, you're synchronizing with your body's natural regeneration cycle. So what are these 2 vitamins? The first is vitamin K2 in the MK7 form, not vitamin K1, which you find in green vegetables. Vitamin K2 This is the form that activates specific proteins called vitamin K-dependent proteins, including one called matrix GLA protein, or MGP. MGP is crucial because it prevents calcification of soft tissues. And guess what cataracts really are at a cellular level? Accumulation of damaged and calcified crystalline proteins that have lost their transparency. Vitamin K2 activates MGP, which literally removes calcium deposits from the eye's lens, restoring transparency. But K2 alone isn't enough. You need the second vitamin to fully activate this process. And this vitamin will surprise you because almost no one talks about it in the context of eye health. It's vitamin D3, not the pathetic 400 IU dose you find in multivitamins. I'm talking about 5,000 to 10,000 IU taken at night. Because vitamin D3 does three critical things to reverse cataracts. First, it regulates calcium metabolism, ensuring that calcium goes to bones and teeth, not to soft tissues like the eye's lens. Second, it reduces systemic inflammation, which is one of the main drivers of oxidative stress that damages lens proteins. Third, it improves insulin sensitivity, reducing glycation, the process where sugar in the blood binds to proteins and damages them irreversibly. Now you're probably thinking, if this works so well, why hasn't my ophthalmologist ever mentioned it? That's the question I asked my own doctor after he saw my results. His answer was honest and disturbing. He said that in medical school, they learn that cataracts are inevitable and irreversible, period. None of his professors ever mentioned nutritional interventions because the cataract surgery industry is a $20 billion a year machine. There's no financial incentive to research $15 alternatives. But wait, before you run to the drugstore, there's a crucial detail I haven't told you yet. A detail that makes all the difference between this working or you wasting your money. It has to do with how you take these vitamins and what you can't do in the first 2 hours after you take them. Stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal could literally save your vision. When I started researching this deeply, I found something fascinating in a 2019 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology. Researchers measured the absorption of vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 at different times of the day and under different dietary conditions. What they discovered was shocking. When taken in the morning with breakfast, especially a low-fat breakfast, absorption was only 20 to 30%. But when taken at night, 30 minutes before bed, with a small amount of healthy fat, absorption jumped to 70 to 85%. Why? Because both vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 are fat-soluble vitamins. They need fat to be absorbed. And your body processes fats much more efficiently at night, when your metabolism switches from glucose burning to fat burning during sleep. But there's more. Taking these vitamins at night boosts their levels during the period of maximum cell repair, which happens between 1 and 4 a.m. It's like giving your body the right tools, exactly when it's doing the construction. But here's the mistake that 90% of people make. They take the vitamins and immediately go watch TV or scroll on their phone for 2 hours before bed, and that destroys the whole process. Why? Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, and melatonin isn't just important for sleep. It's one of your body's most powerful antioxidants, especially concentrated in your eyes. Melatonin protects the cells of the retina and lens from oxidative stress. When you suppress melatonin with blue light, you're basically sabotaging the repair process that the vitamins are trying to facilitate. So, the real protocol is this. 30 minutes before bed, take 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 and 100 micrograms of vitamin K2 MK7. Take it with a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, or a small handful of almonds or walnuts, or half an avocado. Any healthy fat works. Then turn off all the screens, read a paperback book, meditate, do some light stretches, talk to your partner, anything without blue light, and then go to sleep. I did this religiously every night for 12 weeks. For the first 10 days, I noticed absolutely nothing. My vision seemed the same. The clouds and halos around lights at night were still there. I started to doubt it. But then, in the second week, something small changed. I realized I could read the menu at the diner without holding it so close to my face. The next day, I drove at night, and the halos around headlights seemed a little smaller. Subtle, but noticeable changes. By the fourth week, my wife, Sarah, commented that my eyes looked brighter, less yellowed. I hadn't realized it, but she was right. The opacity that had started to form was getting less dense. By week 8, I was reading without reading glasses for the first time in 3 years, and when I went in for my 12-week follow-up exam, expecting the doctor to schedule my surgery, he stared at the results like he was seeing a ghost. He made me repeat the exam twice, had another doctor review it, checked my history to make sure there wasn't a mix-up with another patient's records, and then he finally admitted my cataracts had regressed significantly. My vision had improved from 20/80 to 20/30 in my left eye, from 20/100 to 20/40 in my right. Surgery was no longer necessary. I asked if he'd seen this before. He said that in 32 years of practice, he'd seen cataracts stabilize a few times in patients who made radical dietary changes, but never in his entire career had he seen cataracts regress 2 full stages in 12 weeks. He asked me exactly what I did. I told him about the vitamin K2 and D3 taken at night. He wrote it all down. And then he said something that amazed me. He said he was going to start recommending this to other patients with early-stage cataracts. This isn't just my story. Since I've shared this protocol with friends and family, I've seen it work with at least 8 other people. My brother Bob was 72, stage 2 bilateral cataracts, 20 to 70 vision. After 16 weeks on the protocol, his cataracts regressed to stage 1 and his vision improved to 20/40. He cancelled the surgery he had scheduled for April. My sister-in-law, Susan, was 68. Stage 3 cataract in her right eye causing double vision. In 20 weeks, it regressed to stage 2 and the double vision disappeared completely. A 76-year-old neighbor, Helen, had cataracts so bad she couldn't drive at night anymore. 6 months on the protocol, and she's back to driving without any problems. Now, I need to make this absolutely clear. This is not a miracle protocol that works overnight. It's not a magic cure. It's a biological process that takes time. You're reversing years of oxidative damage and calcification. That doesn't happen in a week. You need consistency. You need to take these vitamins every night, without exception. You need to avoid blue light before bed, and you need to give your body at least 12 weeks to start seeing measurable results. And there's another important thing. This works best for early to moderate stage cataracts, stage 1 to 3. If you have advanced stage cataracts, stage 4, where the lens is almost completely opaque, it's unlikely this protocol will completely reverse it. But it may stabilize it, it may slow down the progression, and in some cases it may partially improve it. I know people who were stage 4 and were able to delay surgery for 2 to 3 years using this protocol, while maintaining functional quality of life. Now let me talk about the science behind this. Cataracts happen when proteins called crystallins in the eye's lens unfold and clump together, forming opaque aggregates that block light. Traditionally, Medicine says this is irreversible, but recent research from the journal Nature has found that certain molecules can refold partially damaged crystalline proteins. These molecules are called chemical chaperones. Vitamin K2 and metabolites of vitamin D3 have these properties. Vitamin K2 activates proteins that degrade misfolded proteins instead of letting them accumulate. Vitamin D3 reduces inflammation and oxidative stress. That causes the initial damage. Together, they create an environment where new crystalline proteins can be synthesized correctly and damaged ones can be removed. Over time, transparency improves, and then there's the calcification. As cataracts progress, calcium deposits form on the lens. Vitamin K2 activates proteins that mobilize calcium from soft tissues to bones. This removes calcium deposits from the lens. A Dutch study from 2018 showed that people with higher levels of vitamin K2 were 63% less likely to develop cataracts. That's huge. What about vitamin D3? A South Korean study involving over 30,000 people found that those with levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter were twice as likely to have cataracts. When researchers increased vitamin D in deficient patients, the progression not only slowed, but in some cases, there was measurable regression. Now, before you rush out and buy these vitamins, let me give you some specific guidance on dosage and form. Because not all supplements are created equal. For vitamin K2, you specifically want MK7, not MK4, which has a much shorter half-life and requires much larger doses. MK7 has a half-life of 72 hours, so it maintains stable levels in the blood. The effective dose is between 100 and 200 micrograms per day. I personally take 120 micrograms every night. For vitamin D3, you want the cholecalciferol form, not ergocalciferol, which is vitamin D2. Cholecalciferol is the natural form your body produces when exposed to sunlight. The effective dose for reversing cataracts is between 5,000 and 10,000 IU per day. I started with 5,000 IU, and after 4 weeks, I increased it to 8,000 IU. But here's what's really important. Before taking high doses of vitamin D3, you must get a blood test to measure your current levels. If you're already above 50 nanograms per milliliter, you may not need such high doses. If you're below 20, you definitely do. And there's a crucial interaction between vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 that most people don't know about. Vitamin D3 increases the absorption of calcium from the gut. This is great for your bones, but it can be dangerous if you don't have enough vitamin K2 to direct that calcium to where it needs to go. Without vitamin K2, the extra calcium can end up depositing in arteries, heart valves, and soft tissues, including the lens of your eye. That's why it's absolutely essential to take vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 together. They work in synergy. Vitamin D3 brings the calcium. Vitamin K2 directs the traffic. 5 critical mistakes that you need to avoid. Mistake number 1, taking them in the morning instead of at night. The difference in absorption is enormous. In the morning, you get 30% of the benefits. At night, 80 to 90%. Mistake number 2, taking them without fat. Fat-soluble vitamins without fat are simply not absorbed. A tablespoon of olive oil is essential. Mistake number 3, using screens after taking them. Blue light suppresses melatonin, exactly when you need it for cellular repair. Power everything down. Mistake number 4, not being consistent. You need a minimum of 3 months to see measurable changes. 2 weeks is simply not enough. Mistake number 5, not adjusting your diet. If you continue eating sugar and refined carbs, you're causing damage faster than the vitamins can repair. Cut out sodas, sweets, white bread, replace them with vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats, and completely avoid industrial seed oils, soybean, corn, canola, sunflower. These oils promote inflammation and damage cellular proteins. Switch to olive oil, avocado oil, or butter. The difference in inflammation is dramatic. Let me tell you about Agnes, 74 years old. Cataracts so advanced, she'd stopped driving, could no longer read books, only audiobooks, used a magnifying glass for 3 times magnification, bilateral surgery scheduled, estimated cost, $7,500 after Medicare. She simply didn't have that kind of money. She was considering selling family heirlooms passed down for generations. That's when my wife told her about the protocol I was doing. Agnes was skeptical. 74 years of life had taught her not to believe in easy solutions, but she was also desperate. She decided to try it for 6 weeks. If she didn't see any improvement, she would sell the heirlooms and have the surgery. She bought vitamin K2, MK7, and vitamin D3. Started taking 120 micrograms of K2 and 8,000 IU of D3 every night at 9 p.m. with a tablespoon of olive oil. Turned off all screens, read books in large print, or listened to audiobooks. Was in bed by 10 p.m. For the first 3 weeks, nothing changed. She was ready to give up. But my wife convinced her to continue, at least until the 6 weeks she had promised herself. In the 4th week, Agnes noticed something strange. The colors seemed a little more vibrant. She wasn't sure if it was real or if she was imagining it. In the 5th week, she realized she could read the labels at the grocery store without the magnifying glass. It still wasn't perfect, but it was better. In the 6th week, she drove for the first time in 8 months, just to church, a mile away. But she drove. She was so shocked that she decided to continue, rescheduled the surgery for 4 months later. Telling the doctor she had financial issues to resolve first. He wasn't happy, but he agreed. Agnes continued the protocol religiously, every night, without exception. 8 weeks after starting, she was reading normal books again, with regular reading glasses, without magnification. 12 weeks, she was driving at night again. 16 weeks. She went to the ophthalmologist for the pre-surgery exam. The doctor was confused. He said the cataracts looked different, less dense. He redid the visual acuity test 3 times because he didn't believe the results. Agnes's vision had improved from 20/200 to 20/60 in the left eye, from 20/150 to 20/50 in the right. The cataracts had regressed from stage 4 to stage 3 in the left, and from stage 4 to stage 2 in the right. He asked what she was doing. She told him about the vitamins. He shook his head, clearly skeptical, but he couldn't deny the results right in front of him. He said she no longer needed urgent surgery. She could wait. That was 2 years ago. Agnes is now 76. She still takes vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 every night. Her cataracts have stabilized at stage 2 in the left eye and stage 1 in the right. She drives, she reads, she does crossword puzzles. She never had the surgery. She still has the family heirlooms, and she saved $7,500. Let me be absolutely clear about something. I just shared information that could potentially save you thousands of dollars and a scary surgery. Information that took months of research into scientific studies and personal testing. Information that the medical industry has absolutely no incentive to disclose. If you felt like this video delivered real value, if you learned something that could change your life or the life of someone you love, I want to ask you something. That super thanks button down there isn't just a way to financially support this channel. It's so much more than that. It's you saying that information like this deserves to be spread. It's you voting with your wallet, so that more science-based health educational content continues to be created. It's you taking a stand against a system that prioritizes expensive procedures over accessible nutritional solutions. When you click that golden heart and send a super thanks of $5 or $10, you're not just supporting me, you're supporting the democratization of health information that should be public knowledge. Very few channels have the guts to talk about natural alternatives to lucrative procedures, because the more I share this kind of information, the fewer people need $5,000 cataract surgeries. The medical industry doesn't like that. But you, the community watching this right now, you have the power to decide what kind of information survives on the internet. Every super thanks I receive tells me that I'm on the right track, that I should continue researching, continue testing, continue sharing. You're not just a spectator. You're part of a movement of people who believe that health shouldn't be a privilege for the wealthy, that natural solutions deserve the same respect as medical interventions, that knowledge saves lives. If you agree with that, if this video changed something for you, consider sending a super thanks. Any amount, $5, $10, whatever you can. It's you saying yes to more content like this. Thanks for watching this far. And thank you in advance to those who choose to support. Now, let me give you the complete step-by-step protocol, exactly how I do it, so that you can start tonight if you want. Step 1. Buy vitamin K2 in the MK7 form, a dose of 100 to 200 micrograms per capsule. Reliable brands include Life Extension, Jarrow Formulas, Sports Research. You can find it at larger drugstores, health food stores, or online. Approximate cost, $8 to $12 per bottle, which lasts 2 to 3 months. Step 2. Buy vitamin D3 in the cholecalciferol form, a dose of 5,000 to 10,000 IU per capsule. Reliable brands include Nordic Naturals, Thorne, Now Foods, available at practically any drugstore. Approximate cost, $5 to $10 per bottle, which lasts 3 to 4 months. Total monthly cost, less than $5. Step 3. Every night, 30 minutes before you want to go to sleep, take 1 capsule of K2 MK7 and 1 capsule of D3. If you've never taken vitamin D before, start with 5,000 IU. If you know you're deficient, or your levels are below 20 nanograms per milliliter, start with 8,000 to 10,000 IU. Take it with a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, or eat a small handful of walnuts, or half an avocado, or a spoonful of natural peanut butter. Any healthy fat. Step 4. Immediately after taking the vitamins, turn off all screens, television, cell phone, tablet, computer, everything. If you absolutely need to use your phone, activate night mode, which removes blue light, but ideally no screens. Instead, read a physical book, talk with your family, meditate, do light stretches, listen to relaxing music, prepare for sleep without blue light stimulation. Step 5. Go to bed at the same time every night. Consistency in sleep schedule maximizes melatonin and growth hormone production. Try to sleep at least 7 to 8 hours. The most intense cellular repair happens in the first 4 hours of deep sleep. If you only sleep 5 hours, you're missing critical windows of regeneration. Step 6. During the day, reduce sugars and refined carbohydrates as much as possible. Cut out sodas, sugary juices, sweets, cakes, white bread, refined pasta. Replace them with vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats like avocado and olive oil, low glycemic fruits like berries. You don't have to be perfect. But significant sugar reduction is crucial. Step 7. Eliminate industrial seed oils, soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. These oils are rich in inflammatory omega-6 and oxidize easily when heated. Switch to olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil for cooking. Use butter from grass-fed animals instead of margarine. This change alone reduces systemic inflammation dramatically. Step 8. Be consistent. Do this every night without exception for at least 12 weeks. Mark it on your calendar. Set up reminders. Treat this like essential medication because effectively it is. After 12 weeks, schedule an appointment with your ophthalmologist. Ask for a complete cataract evaluation with grade of opacity and visual acuity test. Compare with previous exams. You should see measurable improvement. What can you expect in terms of timeline? Week 1, no noticeable change. This is normal, don't give up yet. At week 2 to 3, you may start to notice very subtle changes. Colors slightly more vibrant, halos around lights a little smaller. It may be so subtle that you doubt if it's real. Keep going. Week 4 to 6. Improvements become more obvious. You can read smaller text without strain. Driving at night gets a little easier. People might comment that your eyes look clearer or brighter. Week 7 to 10. Improvements accelerate. You read without glasses or with a weaker prescription. Halos and clouds diminish noticeably. Sensitivity to glare improves. You start doing things you had stopped doing because of poor vision. Week 11 to 12, changes are undeniable. When you go to the ophthalmologist, objective exams confirm cataract regression. Visual acuity has improved. Lens opacity has decreased. Cataract grade has regressed. After 12 weeks, continue the protocol. This isn't something you do for 3 months and stop. Cataracts are the result of continuous processes of oxidative stress and glycation. If you want to maintain the gains and continue improving, keep the vitamins as part of your nightly routine indefinitely. I still take K2 and D3 every night 2 years later. My cataracts haven't returned. My vision remains stable at 20/30. I avoided surgery completely. One last very important thing. This content is purely educational and informational. It doesn't substitute professional medical advice. Before starting any supplementation, especially high doses of vitamin D, consult your ophthalmologist or primary care physician. Get blood tests to check your current vitamin D levels. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions, especially blood clotting issues, kidney disorders, or hypercalcemia, please chat with your doctor before taking vitamin K2 or high doses of vitamin D3. Don't stop taking any prescribed medications or treatments without medical advice, and keep getting regular eye exams to monitor your progress. Cataracts are not a death sentence of inevitable surgery. They're the result of biochemical processes that can be modified. You have power over your eye health. These 2 accessible vitamins, taken at the right time of day, can make a profound difference. You've now learned the entire protocol. Now, the choice is yours. You can continue down the standard path, waiting until your cataracts get bad enough for surgery, or you can start tonight, giving your body the tools to repair and regenerate. I made my choice 2 years ago. I cancelled my surgery, started the vitamins, changed my diet, and regained my vision without scalpels, without needles, without the risk of surgical complications, and without spending thousands of dollars. Bethany made the same choice. My brother did. My sister-in-law did. 8 people I know personally have, and they've all seen improvement. Now it's your turn. If you decide to try this protocol, I'd love to hear about your results. The comments are open. I want to know. Have you already tried natural alternatives for cataracts before? Did they work or not? Are you willing to give this protocol a 12-week consistent try? Write down below what your current situation with cataracts is. What stage your doctor said you are at? How old you are? How long you've been dealing with this? I read all the comments and respond to as many as I can. especially in the first 48 hours after the video drops. And if you know someone, a mom, a dad, a grandpa, a grandma, an uncle, aunt, friend, anyone over 60 who has been diagnosed with cataracts and is facing the surgery decision, please share this video. You could literally change that person's life. At least give them the information to make an informed choice. Information is power, health is power, and shared knowledge saves lives. Thank you for watching until the end. Thank you for being part of this community that values natural, science-based solutions. And remember, your cataracts don't define your future. You do. Good luck and good vision.